Wilson Morales, Black Film and TV. Hi, John. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How you doing?
Good, good. It's been a minute. So you
Yeah.
obviously, I'm always assuming that you're getting projects to look at as far as what you want to do next, whether it's TV or film. So
Mhm.
you're doing this project. What went into saying yes to it?
First and foremost, it was Steve McQueen. I've always wanted to work with him. I was secretly in the franchise world, in a spacesuit, watching my boy Daniel Kaluuya kill it in Widows, hearing about just the way Steve operates on set as a creative, as an artist, watching his Q&As, these various film festivals he's been to when he shots his movies around. And I always wanted to work with him. So first and foremost, I was just like, yeah. And then it's the story. It's this guy, it's Leroy Logan, a man who is a scientist and decides to go off on another path and pursue change and real change within the institution that is not necessarily ready for him. And that really, really interests me. And it was the way Steve was talking about formatting these shows and small acts bringing together other movies and other stories from the West Indian community. And for me, I was just like, yeah, this sounds like something special, something good for the times. Obviously, it was pre-pandemic and everything that's going on. I just felt like this is a story that needs to be told. And now, with it being released in this time, it's just more on top of that. So it's been great.
How much can you talk about your character and describing him? And how much research did you do about that time period?
There was a lot of research into that time period. Thankfully, you have a lot of people who were about then and about now to give me some perspective on it. But it was actually through the experience of just even preparing for the role. There was a tailor shop that Steve had me fit in Islington that Leroy Logan himself always regularly uses and actually would use from back in the day. And there the research came from just hearing about these guys through other people, through Steve who had met him and through his friend who was the owner of this store. And then I went to meet Leroy himself in Southwest London and we sat down and that's where we really got into it. I had to ask him the questions like, why did you make this choice? Like you had a baby on the way, then you're going into like, could have been a biochemist. Like, isn't that good money? What was it like back then? What were you like wearing? What clubs were you lot going to? Because, I grew up in the same area and in the same stomping ground as Leroy himself. So I wanted to know how we relate. Like, do you lot still club in Peckham? Do you lot do this? So we were relating in that way. So there was a lot of research into it and into the time as well.
Now that you talk about how you related to the character, obviously there's Steve's direction. What did you pick up from working with him that you probably didn't get from other directors, but you can take on to your next project?
I think he was different in the experience. I think Steve has a different approach. And I've actually, how we define actors in terms of actors having different abilities and strength. We know what Joaquin Phoenix can do. Then we know what a Gerard Leto can do. Then we know what a Dwayne Johnson can do, having their own kind of different areas of expertise and showing their creativity. I kind of lend the same eye to directors, as well. And for Steve specifically, I think he comes from a solid artistic background. Like this dude has images of the next generation of Black kids plastered on the undergrounds of the transportation system and transportation for London, here in the London tubes. And then we'll have like a show happening at the Tate Gallery, at Tate Modern, by the river. So he comes from that sophisticated, artistic, history. When it comes on set, the way he's able to break it down, take you to the side, share a story with you, share his heart, in order to motivate and prompt real true emotion in scenes. He's on a different level. The guy's good, you know what I mean? He's really, really good.
So when you say it like that, and then you think about the projects you've done, obviously going back from Attack the Clock to now, big, small, what goes into saying yes? What is it that you're looking for?
Story and the ability to just do my job, which is to play a completely different person. It's like one of the biggest things I say all the time and about the definition of acting, step outside oneself and become another person. But you kind of dwell in their spirit as a vessel. You're supposed to change in front of people's eyes. And that's something I've always, admired. If I'm playing Moses, I want to know that if you put Moses, Finn, and a brother from Small Axe in the same room, that you got three different brothers and you can tell the difference. So that's kind of like my thing.
Mm-hmm. You're working on, they cloned Tyrone, and I saw that they had a shutdown recently and so forth. how have you been dealing with not only just the pandemic, but working, within the pandemic crisis?
Yeah, it's been, I can't complain, and it's definitely a reshuffle. A lot more podcasts, and I got involved in a dramatized podcast called There Be Monsters, a sci-fi joint. I just got involved in different types of ish. I signed a social media deal because I wanted to keep up my creativity, do something from home, but collect a bag while doing it. So I was able to create with my sisters and do certain things. So I've been pretty privileged in this position, to be fair, during this. But in terms of what we all enjoy, which is main, feature film, filming, it's been quite different. And I'm actually back to work next week now for Day Clone Tyrone. We're starting up at the end of November, so it's exciting to know that I'm going to be on the field again anyway.
Before I let you go, obviously, Small Act is 5 different stories, all totally different. What's going to entice an audience to tune into all 5 of them, not just the one you're in?
Oh man, you got Letitia Wright and a good solid performances in the other one, but it's just the whole round experience. I don't think a lot of people are realizing this is a first, for a project of its kind, especially shining an eye on these stories. We don't get to see, these Black British stories, portrayed in this way all the time, especially so nuanced and well taken care of by Steve. So I think it'd be a great experience, a great learning experience for us to learn from each other, especially in the global Black community. We can always see the struggle and learn from the struggle through artistic expression, as well as reading, academics and other things. And this is just one way. And I want to motivate people to check this one out and enjoy it.
John, it's always good to see you. It's always good to talk to you. Keep doing your work. We're here to support. Have yourself a great day.
Hey man, them curtains in the background are complicated, but I mean that in a good way. Where you getting from?
It's an old one. It's an old curtains. I have to look for new ones. I don't know if or not.
Casting spells and doing something. I love it.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Take care.
All right, man. Take care, mate.